The checkbox control works exactly the same as radio buttons, but they allow users to select multiple options. For example, checkboxes for hobbies or checkboxes for pizza topping. Checkbox is also very useful control. You have seen that in so many applications and on the web. From the toolbox, drag a checkbox and make multiple copies. Let's say like this. And we need a label control to show the result of the selection. Have a label control and put it right here. Now, once again, it has some important properties. The first property, as usual, is a name property. Let me just select the checkbox one, and here is a name property. Now, let's say these checkboxes are for pizza topping. So, the first checkbox, CB can be used for the checkbox, and the function is is. And now the checks property, like this. Now select the second checkbox, and this checkbox is for mushrooms. Another name, and the third checkbox is for pepperoni. Name CB pepperoni, and here we have the text. Right now, our checkboxes are updated, and checkboxes are for multiple selections. So let's now run the program and check the behavior of the checkboxes. As you can see, I can select cheese, mushrooms, or pepperoni. I can only select cheese and pepperoni, right? So we can do multiple selections. And just like radio buttons, checkboxes also have the checked property, which is used in the code. Here we have the checked property. And the event is, as usual, the checked change event. So the checkboxes and the radio button both use the same event, check change. However, checkboxes can also be programmed without the checked change event. And in fact, most of the time, we program checkboxes without the event. We get the user selections using the click event. For example, we can put a button here, place order. And when the button is clicked, read the value from the checkboxes using the checked property and then show the result. On the other hand, checked change event is the live event. If you want to show the selection at runtime, then you can also code checked change event on the checkboxes. So let me show you an example of both. Using the checked change, we will show the live selection, and using the click, we will submit the final version. So let's drag a button control on the toolbox window, put it here somewhere on the form, and drag this label here. It will show the current selection. Now, the name of the label is already set, LBL pizza selection, and the button, we should adjust the name of the button. For example, BTN order and the text property. Place order, right? So let's first program the checked change event functionality. Select all the checkboxes, go inside the event window, and here we have the check change. Name the event such as pizza selection underscore checked change. Now press enter. So this is our checked change event on all the checkboxes. So whenever the event is raised, we will check for the checked property. So if the first checkbox cheese is checked, we will do something here. Another if statement, checkbox mushroom dot checked, we will perform another operation, and another if statement CB pepperoni is checked, so we will perform another operation. You might have noticed one thing here. We wrote this code in the previous chapter when we talked about the radio buttons. And in this code, I am using a structure if, else if, else if. And in this case, where we are using checkboxes, I am using simple if statements. There is a very valid reason for that, why I am doing so. For the radio buttons, we know that only one can be checked at a time. So multiple if statements cannot be true in this case. And that's why I'm using else if structure. In this structure, when a condition becomes true, program won't move further and investigate the other conditions. For example, if the first checkbox is checked, then this would be the result and program will never go down and investigate the other statements. So this if else if structure can be used here because the selection value is only one. But in this case, multiple checkboxes can be checked, and that's why we are coding simple if statements. Now, to get the value of the selection, we can simply build a string variable, a string, let's call it toppings, which is empty from the beginning. And now when the first checkbox is checked, we will simply build this topping variable further, and we'll get the text from the cheese checkbox like this, and we'll concatenate a space with a comma. If the other one is also checked, let's say mushroom, so we will do the same here, concatenate and build a string cb mushrooms text plus comma in between, and the last one cb pepperoni, and then we will simply display this toppings variable on the form. But before that, we also check a condition. If topping is not equal to empty, right? That means user have made a selection or some selections. Or we can even simplify that if statement using the binary operator. We have a label with the selection dot text equals condition is topping is not equals empty. If it is not empty, we will simply assign toppings variable. Otherwise, we will display a message you did not select any topping, right? Let's break it down on multiple lines like this. Let's now run the program and check the development. So here we go. Let's select the cheese. Now you can see the cheese is selected. You see a runtime response from the program. Now I don't want to select the cheese. Remove the cheese. You can see you did not select any topping. Let's select mushroom, pepperoni. Here you can see my selection in runtime. Remove pepperoni and remove cheese. Here you can see cheese and mushrooms, right? And I say you did not select any topping. So to tell the user about the selection in real time, we can program like that using the checked change event. But when the time comes for the submission or for placing the order, then we must program behind this button control. So let's double click on the place order button. Here we will have the click event. And in that event, we need to access this toppings variable. This variable is the local variable. It's created inside this event method. So I cannot use this local variable outside of its scope. So in that case, where we need variables in different places in a program, we usually create them or declare them at the class level. So this is our class. We are going to create this variable here, and we must empty the variable every time this checked change event is fired so that it build itself from the beginning using the new values. Now this variable is available in this click option. Now before placing the order, we will once again check for the empty value. If toppings is not equal to empty, that means something is chosen, then we can show a confirmation message box, such as your order summary. You have the following toppings, and now the toppings. So this is our order placing. We can also attach an else block here. In the else block, you can display a text in the selection label box. And here we have a text. You did not select any topping like this. And if you want, so you can make any checkbox default. For example, the cheese option or the cheese topping is the default. we can go up here in the form constructor and cbcs dot checked is true from the beginning. User can simply remove it or review it before the submission. So let's now run the program and check the output. So here we go. As you can see, the cheese is the default. It is selected. Now mushroom, you can say mushroom and cheese. You did not select any option. And if I want to place order without any selection, nothing will happen. The same message here. Now select cheese and mushroom, place order. Here comes your order. Your order summary, you have the following toppings, cheese and mushrooms. Let's now select pepperoni as well, place order, and you have the following toppings, cheese, mushroom, and pepperoni. So my dear learners, in this chapter, we learn to code checkboxes. In the next chapter, we will talk about and learn combo box control.